So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us and welcome to our Grip July tips and tricks. Today we'll be talking about some different digital marketing services and how they kind of work together and relate and rely on each other to succeed. So, a strong digital marketing strategy involves a variety of different services that work together. These services, to be as successful as possible, don't really stand alone. They kind of need to have a cohesive strategy overarching all of them and kind of rely on each other to drive success, especially if some are underperforming. Working on one of the other services can kind of help give that one a boost. So, today we'll be talking about SEO and copywriting, social media, and paid advertising. Obviously, there's some other more specific services like referral marketing or email marketing, some different website traffic channels, but we will be touching on these kind of main primary ones that everyone should be doing or at least considering in their digital marketing strategy. We'll also touch a little bit on the importance of tracking these different types of website traffic channels, where you can find those different performance metrics and tracking metrics, and then also just a little bit about kind of adjusting strategy and how the different strategies can give each other a boost. So first, we'll talk a little bit about SEO and copywriting services. The primary goal of these two services is to improve your organic traffic, which is just any traffic that's coming to your website as the result of something that's not a paid ad, not from social media, not a branded search. So people just typing a search query into the search bar and then you come up and they click on your website. A good organic traffic strategy will help you rank higher in search engines. You'll get more website visitors. It'll increase your business, increase sales, leads, brand awareness, all that good stuff. And the foundation of a good SEO and copywriting strategy is giving search engine crawlers plenty of SEO-friendly content to crawl. So there's a lot of kind of SEO basics that we'll touch on in the next little bullet point. But as it relates to advertising and social media, it creates these really strong landing pages for the ads and social media to direct to. So obviously the goal of having an ad or a social post that leads back to your website is to get the user to your website, but that's just the first step. Once they're there, you want to have SEO friendly and user friendly content. So once they get on that website page, they're interested, they're engaged. They're not just getting to the website, but they're reacting with the content, they're engaging with the content, and then ultimately, ideally, completing a conversion, be it contacting you, signing up for a service, buying something, anything of that nature. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of kind of basic SEO best practices that not only help with that organic traffic, but also help with the user experience. They kind of go hand in hand. So the kind of basic one that we always touch on is having a good amount of content. 200 words is the minimum. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's something you run into more than you think, where it's under 200 words. Then it kind of, crawlers can have a little bit of trouble crawling it and properly assessing the content. And then also it might not just be as engaging for the user. There's also just certain things like having a clear heading hierarchy, well-organized pages, engagement factors like be it interactive text, images, videos, things like that, as well as a good just navigation and internal linking structure to help kind of direct crawlers across your website as well as make it easy for users to find their content they're looking for. Then something that factors really heavily into SEO and copywriting that also ties to social media marketing and paid advertising is just strong keyword research. So there's a lot of different types of keyword research you can do. There's volume analysis, competitive analysis, a localized analysis, and all of these are good to do because they not only help SEO and copywriting, but they can help, like I mentioned, advertising and social media. So for example, for a hashtag, you might want to do like a volume analysis, or for a paid advertising, you might want to do a competitive analysis to see what kind of keywords your competitors are coming up for that you're not. And Allison and Isabel will touch a little bit more on those topics as it specifically relates to advertising and social media. But we'll take a look at just some examples of different types of keyword research. So on the bottom, you can see just kind of a basic volume analysis. So say I'm a Western fashion boutique and I sell like Western clothing, Western jewelry, and I'm looking for kind of just what kind of keyword I want to maybe use over the other. So you can see just switching fashion out for style almost doubles the keyword volume. So just changing one specific word or where the words are in a sentence can really have a huge impact on how often maybe you would do. Obviously, you could get a lot more in depth if you were doing jewelry. Maybe search is turquoise jewelry or silver jewelry search more, just to kind of find what keywords you should be including because they have a really good volume. Above that, you can see an example of a competitive analysis. So there's a lot of different tools you can use for these types of keyword research. We use SEMrush, which is a little expensive, so it may not be ideal if you're just doing these things individually, but it's one of the big benefits of hiring a digital marketing agency is having access to these advanced tools. But there's some free tools like Google Trends, some just other Google keyword tools. But back to that competitive analysis, we took Target and just a couple different competitors, and you can see you get a lot of different keyword metrics. So you have the volume similar to just the basic volume analysis, but then you also have different tabs for keywords that you're missing that their competitors are coming up for. You have strong keywords, any shared keywords, any weak keywords you maybe want to look at improving. So it can give you a lot of specific data. So say I was Target and I can see here I'm not coming up for Hydro Flask, but all my competitors are. So maybe I would try to include Hydro Flask maybe in my homepage content a little bit more, work it into if I write blogs, just so I can start ranking for those keywords that my competitors are coming up for that I'm not, so long as they're relevant. And then I also mentioned briefly on the last slide that localized keyword research. That would be obviously if you're something like e-commerce that's kind of catering to like the whole United States, you wouldn't necessarily do as much localized keyword research. But if you were like a dentist who only served patients in Iowa, you would maybe try to target down what keyword volumes are searched specifically in that either city or state. So you're kind of getting the more popular vernacular for the target audience you're trying to hit. So that can be done in one great tool we use is Google Ads Keyword Planner, where you can target down to a specific city and see which iteration of a keyword people are searching more so you know you're using the right keywords. Then once we've done all of our keyword research, you can see on the right one of the tools we use to make sure we're writing content that is not only SEO friendly, but also user friendly. So it encompasses that SEO factor of the keywords, tone of voice, originality, as well as readability. So just reading level, length, things like that, making sure you're hitting all those important factors that tie into SEO and copywriting. So there's really a lot that goes into it. And it's especially important for a good SEO and copywriting strategy to be supported by social media and in most cases ads. So Isabel will talk a little bit more about how social media ties into copywriting and then as well as some just kind of fundamentals for creating good social media posts that drive traffic to your website.
So as Alex mentioned, I'm Isabel. I'm also a digital marketing specialist, but I specialize in social media work for our clients. So social media has a few goals. A few are to improve brand awareness, get your brand out there and get it known, highlight products and services, attract customers, and build customer relationships. So to do this, when I write a social post, I usually use the same template every time. I find this helps me write it faster and easier. So I first start with an attention grabber. This can include just like a small phrase that also has an exclamation point or an emoji if you like using those. And then after that, I usually include 1 to 2 short sentences of content relating to the attention grabber. This is where I really tell the audience what the product or service is about, what the page I'm highlighting is about, things like that. And then I end it with a CTA, that's a call to action, usually like learn more now, read about it today, things like that. And then I always link back to the website. This is a great way to get more traffic to those pages that you just had optimized. Or if you're creating a totally new page, it's a great way to get traffic to that. And then with every post, I also include at least one image or graphic. People love to see people, so pictures highlighting staff, your culture, behind the scenes, things like that always do really well. So I would recommend doing that. But if you don't have pictures or if people really don't like getting the picture taken, you can also substitute those for high quality graphics. The digital marketing department at Global Reach really likes to use Canva Pro. It allows us to use a ton of photos, elements such as like circles, squares, things like that. It also has templates that help you like start at a specific point and then personalize it and customize it to what you want it to look like. And then they also have brand kits, which I'll get into in a little bit. And this works hand in hand with SEO and copywriting because I like to highlight what Alex writes. So if she writes a blog or if she optimizes one of our services pages, I always like the next month, I always like to do a post on that. Um, like I said, it's a great way to increase traffic and get that page more popular. Oh, will you go back one more thing? With hashtags, that's the last thing I like to add on a post. I always do hashtag research to make sure it's relevant and popular. So on this slide, you can see an example. I was writing about drone photography, aerial photography. So I typed in on Facebook, just in the search bar, hashtag aerial photography, and it shows me how popular it is. So out of this list, I would definitely use hashtag aerial photography and hashtag aerial photos. If you are a photographer, you could use that one too. But hashtags are a great way to get more people seeing your post. So here are a few example posts of ones I've written in the past. The first one highlights one of Alex's blog posts about drone photography and how you can elevate it with marketing. So my attention grabber is let drones take your marketing to the next level with a little rocket emoji. And then no matter your industry, drone photography and videography can help show your business in a new light and from a new perspective. And then my CTA is learn more about the benefits today, with it linking directly back to the blog post or the blog. And then some of the hashtags we use are hashtag drones, hashtag drone photography, aerial photography, and business tips. And then one of our graphic designers created this awesome graphic. The next one is I'm highlighting a page that she optimized. It's our IT support services page. And I was able to take a picture, which got a lot of engagement. People like to see the face behind all their support, which is what my attention grabber is. I said a little bit about what they do, linked it back to our website, and then added the hashtags. And then two more examples. This one is also an optimized services page, but this one includes a graphic instead of a people photo. This has the same things. And then the last one is one of our best performing posts just because it has a lot of pictures. It's fun. This was one of our team bonding days at the end of the month, and we were able to link it back to a relevant blog. So people really enjoyed that. So like I said, people really like to see people. So if you're able to take pictures, whether you're at lunches, like gatherings, team bonding events, always try to snap a couple pictures. And then the last thing I wanted to get into was Canva. These are what the brand kits look like. So as you can see, we have a brand kit for each one of our clients, and here's a couple of them. And then the picture on the right shows what's actually in the brand kit. So this is for Outdoor Joe's, one of our clients. It has 2 logos that we use all the time. It has all of their brand colors, and then it also has the brand fonts that they like to use. So everything looks cohesive, put together, and in unison. And it just makes creating graphics a lot easier. So yeah, that's all I had about social media. If you have any questions about it, we can talk about that at the end. But Allison will talk next about paid advertising and how that links back to SEO and copywriting.
Yeah, so like Isabel said, my name is Allison. I handle some of our paid advertising services, and I'm going to start, I think, just with some of the benefits. For the purposes of today, I'm only talking about Google advertising. You can do advertising, obviously, on social media through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through some of those other platforms, but we have seen that as far as search engine optimization and website traffic goes, Google really is the best, just because you're meeting directly with the user. So first of all, we have a couple benefits to doing paid advertising. The first is increased traffic to the website. That's just the baseline. You're always going to have that benefit, no matter what kind of ads you're running, with the exception of call ads. You're going to get more traffic to your website, which is great, especially if you're just starting out with a new business or you just need a pickup for the season or something. Another benefit is that you can intercept your competitors' traffic. So one thing that I do pretty regularly is I will add the names of competitors to my clients' keyword lists so that we are sending advertisements to the users when they search for the names of competitors. So for example, we have a 1-800-Flowers in Ames, and we have a Flowerama, two different flower stores. And if 1-800-Flowers is one of our clients, I could put in, I could put the name of Flowerama, their competitor, in as one of their keywords. And if someone types in Flowerama near me or Flowerama Mother's Day basket or whatever, they can see the ad for 1-800-Flowers come up, and we've seen good luck, good success with that as far as intercepting competitor traffic. Another thing, benefit is that you're only paying for relevant traffic. So this is compared to running something on social media. If you've ever paid to boost a post, you basically just boost the post to whoever is going to see it, whoever is around. It's hard to, there's no targeting options. There's not a lot of control. Whereas with paid advertising, specifically in Google, you are only going to pay, let's use that flower example again. We're only going to pay for keywords like flower bouquets near me or 12 dozen roses for Valentine's, whatever, all these things. You can put in a specific keyword and then only pay when someone clicks on your ad. You can also set up specifically, I want to pay for impressions, so your ad will come up more often, or I can pay only when someone clicks on the ad. It's very customizable. And that's one of the things I really like about it, is that I always feel like the clients get the most bang for their buck with Google Ads. So, excuse me. And then the last benefit that I see as it relates to SEO is giving optimized pages a boost. So one, obviously, like Alex mentioned at the very beginning, we have a great kind of web of services in our digital marketing team, and they really do work together. So for example, when Alex optimizes, like Isabel said, our support page, our IT support page, Alex, the flow kind of happens is that Alex will optimize the page, and then Isabel will run a social, we'll do a social post on it with the link back, and then I will do an ad highlighting that page or that service. And this kind of all works together to show Google, hey, we're serious about sending people to this page, and we're serious about offering this service because it tracks all the different points at which the user can interact. So, and then this little graphic that I've got here has clicks, conversions, cost per conversion, and cost. So you can, this is the default when you come onto a Google Ads landing page, kind of your dashboard. So I just thought that would be fun to include. This is a client that it's a dentist's office that had in the last month 59 clicks, 16 conversions, and conversions are any favorable action that someone takes. So that can be a call, that can be a filling out a submission form, that can be just visiting a page, whatever you want the intended action at the end of the day. That's what a conversion is. And then you see I have my benefits, and then my only cost is obviously just the monetary cost. So I have seen many of potential advertising clients, get shied away from doing ads because of the cost. And I totally understand that. It's obviously an investment at first. And to that, I would just kind of say, I think if you have a smaller budget or you're working as a nonprofit, well, if you're working as a nonprofit, we can get you set up with an ads grant. But if you're working with a smaller budget, don't be discouraged, or don't think that this couldn't be for you. Obviously, I've seen clients do really well with, budgets like $20 a day. I've seen clients do really well with budgets like $5 a day, or $2 a day. Any kind of budget that you can give, Google can work with, as long as there's enough people searching for those terms. So that's just a little shout out. If you're considering it, don't be afraid of the costs. We can always work with small budgets. So if you could go to that next slide, I just have a couple examples of these are what ads look like. I mean, we've all seen them. We all use the internet. So once if you search for something, this is again a client that has budget of $5 a day. So you can see that they have on the left a mobile ad that I've created, and then on the right is how it would appear on a desktop. Sorry. So you can kind of control. I can control what all of that says. I can control which services specifically they're highlighting. This particular ad group is highlighting which services are covered in each dental insurance. That's why you see Delta Dental and Wellmark. I think there's another one for Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna, things like that. So yeah, so you can kind of control them. And then if you could go one more, you can see, or one more slide, you can see the paid advertising services has keywords, and on the left you can see all the list of keywords, and on the right you can see kind of the data that they're bringing in. So again, this is for a client. This is the last week for this client, and they have like I said, a budget of $5 a day. So given $5 a day in the last week, they had a total in that top row, that grade row, of 52 clicks from ads to their website. And then you can see, because it's a dentist, there were 183 people who searched for dentist in this. We're running this ad in Ames because it's a local dentist office. 183 people in that impressions, third from the right, search for dentist, and then of that, 11 people clicked on the ad for this client's website. So that's really the goal, is to get not only for them to click, but also to then, like we said earlier, convert. And so what we do is we work with clients to build a keyword list. And on that far left column, you can see all the different keywords. Looks like about 10 of I think we have, 60 or 75 keywords for this client. So it's not uncommon to work with clients and have a big long list of what are people going to search in order to find your services, and what do you want to capture them for. So this is a lot. There's a lot to it, but the really watered down version is you want to kind of meet the user along their search process, and you're paying to basically insert yourself into the process of them finding whatever they're looking for online, whether it's a product or a service or whatever else. That's kind of where ads comes in. So with that, I will pass it off to Christian, who's going to talk a little bit about reporting and how we use analytics to support all of our decisions and our marketing strategies.
Yep. So as Allison said, my name is Christian, and essentially what happened here is we had Alex, Isabel, and Allison go through their specialties. So SEO, social media, paid advertising, and sort of one thing we want to ensure is success. And one way to not necessarily ensure or guarantee success, but to monitor success, is to look at reporting and analytics. So the overarching goal of reporting analytics is to track and measure success. And the definition of success will pretty much vary amongst the nature of your corporation, the type of business you have, but basically success boils down to conversions and how many conversions you're getting. And I think Allison briefly touched on this, but a conversion is pretty much different for everyone. If you're an e-commerce client, it's a little simpler. If you're an e-commerce client, a conversion is, someone making a purchase, someone going to your website, adding a product to their cart and making a purchase. But it gets, it varies heavily. If you are a lawyer, maybe a conversion is a phone call or a submission form. So all of these are questions that you need to answer. I would say, one way to answer this question is take a look at your website and take a look at your business and think, all right, what is the most natural next course of action here? What do I want someone to do on my website? And from there, you should be able to think, oh, I want people to call me. I want people to make a purchase. I want people to make a phone call. I want people to click a button. That is how you pick your conversion. And once you have your conversion in mind, that's where we kind of go to town with it. We use a bunch of different measuring tools over here. We use Google Analytics. We use the dashboards on Google Ads. We use the custom reports features in Google Analytics. And I also use a tool a lot. It's called Google Tag Manager. This is a little bit less known than Google Analytics, but it's just as important and just as versatile. Over here, I'd say that Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager are my most used tools, just because I'm able to look at, insights at how various channels are performing. We're able to look at the different channels we just went through. In Google Analytics, Alex, if you go to the next slide here. In Google Analytics, what you're able to do is you're able to look at the different channels. So you see the left picture there where I have the arrows pointing. You have the information like, traffic coming in from organic search, traffic coming in from direct traffic, traffic coming in from referral, traffic coming in from paid search, which is paid advertising. And you also have traffic coming in from organic social. So, and on the right here, we have, this is a custom report that we made in Google Analytics 4, and this is for an e-commerce client. And over there, it's a little blurry, but over there you have, the names of the products and how many sales you've made from that product. So you're able to take a look at it. And this is where we come in and we take a look at this list of products and we think, okay, what's doing really well, what's not doing great? Should we optimize the page for this product? Should we look at maybe speaking to the client about phasing out this product? And you, as a business owner, can look at this information and think, okay, this is where our strengths lie. This is where our weaknesses lie. Let's hone in on this and let's make a decision from here. Matt, our boss, isn't here, but if he was here, he'd always say that data is just the way to make informed business decisions, and that's exactly what it is. Through tools like Google Analytics and all that, we try to give you the tools to make business decisions, and also gives us the information to see whether what we're doing is working or not. And over here, this is a screenshot of one of our tools, and it's called Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is one of my favorite tools to use, and essentially it takes your website and it allows us to track specific events on your website. So if you have like a bunch of pages with a button at the bottom that says, learn more, we're able to track that button and see how many people are clicking on it. We're able to see things like how many, how far someone scrolled on your website. We're able to look at, your search bar in your website. We're able to look at what people are searching for. And from there, we can give you lists of what people are searching for. And you can think, okay, a lot of people are searching for this thing that currently isn't on my website. Maybe I should put it on my website. So that's a pretty awesome tool that we use. It's mostly used for just tracking and understanding behavior on websites, and it's a really good tool to understanding, basically understanding your customer group and understanding what they want and how they're interacting with the site. So that's one of the tools we use. And then this next slide here, this slide is kind of just to emphasize that pretty much most platforms have some sort of reporting built into it. Over here, this is a screenshot of Google Analytics and Google My Business. We had a training last month on Google My Business where we did a deeper dive on this. But essentially, in all these platforms like Google Ads, Google My Business, Facebook, and social media platforms, you have the ability to look at analytics on these platforms and take a look at, okay, how are people interacting with this? How many people have seen this? Is this successful? Has this not been super successful? So, for Google Ads, you're able to look at how many conversions you have. You're able to look at how many impressions an ad has had. For Google My Business, you're able to look at how many people have come into your website, through direct traffic, through discovery traffic, through branded traffic. You're able to look at all this information, and from there, it can give you an indication of where to go from here. And for us, reporting is a pretty huge part of our day-to-day jobs because it just gives us a bearing on where we are. It gives us information. Okay, should we keep going with this? Should we stop with this? Should we scale back? Should we add something new? Should we make a significant change here? So this, it kind of ties everything together, and it's a great thing to do. Once in 2 weeks, once every month, to sit down and just do a deep dive on Google Analytics and just your other analytics platform, and just learn from there. So that's essentially how analytics ties it all together. Over here, we have, on our website right now, we have a blog dedicated to understanding and improving your web traffic channels, which ties in nicely to what we spoke about today. And on our YouTube channel, we uploaded a video yesterday that covers, your web traffic and how to increase your web traffic and how to understand your web traffic. So I'm going to actually drop a link in the chat right now because it's a video that we posted yesterday, and it's pretty cool. It's a video of Alex and I sitting down and talking and sharing information. So that's gonna be a great place for you guys to get information from. And with that, we will open the floor to any questions that you guys may have. If you have any questions about what we've just spoken about today, please go ahead and drop some questions. You can always unmute your mic and talk to us, or you could drop a message in the chat. We can go from there.
All right. Well, if no one has any questions, we will end that there. But if you guys would like to learn more, you can join us next month on our next script tips and tricks training session. We'll be sending out another email about that shortly. It'll also be on our social media. And then you can also, like Christian said, always learn more on our YouTube or our website. We have more information about our different services that we discussed today, as well as just some more blogs that kind of relate more to these specific services and just give more tips and tricks and things to improve and different strategies to work on. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their week.
Yeah, thank you guys. I will go ahead and stop the recording.